Good day and welcome to Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Arthur Mafokate and I'm chilling with a friend, a father, a promoter, an industry veteran, an expert. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Thobela Dlamini. Malumi.
Hola.
How are you?
Hey, man, I'm fine. No, I'm super, I'm fine.
I don't know how to describe you because you're becoming a giant in the industry. And I've known you for many years. But in short, if you were to describe who's Thobela Dlamini to somebody out there that says, why is Arthur sitting with that gentleman that he so highly rate? Because I rate you highly.
No, Thobela Dlamini is just an ordinary guy. Pumekasi, Pumekahiso, been in the industry for quite some time. My father, I'm a husband to my wife, and
loyal husband.
No, very much in love with my wife. I think in the industry I've done so many things, but truth be told, you made it happen. And wherever I am, I will always say to people, my first line of defense and introduction is Arthur Mafokate.
And they get shocked.
And people go like, what in manje?
Because I give you so much respect. I respect your work and you are highly respected out there. But how's Arthur coming in?
Basically, this is what happened, colleagues. I was a driver of Mafigizolo in Kagiso because we all come from the same township. And we all grew up together with Theo being a cousin to my wife now. And then Tlantla being a friend, obviously from high school, Kagiso Senior Secondary School. So when we were together, we used to do what you call lingisa. You know lingisa, those things where you imitate people. By that time, I was still young. I mean, they were calling me John Cicada. By then, I was singing John Cicada's song. Even now, some guys that I grew up with, when I come, hey, Cicada, are you good? And I'm like, hey, you guys still remember those things at the training center in Kagiso. So we had about Theo, their group was called Shy. Theos were shy and all these things. So we started this relationship. Then what happened was the guys went to studio, and when they came back with their first album, I was driving a Caravel, a green one.
I remember.
It's called Cara, it was Cara X. Because in Tlantla we call it Carantlex. And then there's Carantio, there's Cara, we are Caras in that car.
Cara X because of you.
Exactly.
Xolani.
Yes, Xolani comes in there. Now, this relationship was like, and guys, this is the car, transportation is me. Now I'm driving the group around. So I'm still young, I'm running out, I'm still trying to find my rhythm. Remember, I come from Vestec. And during Vestec times, I used to be an SRC there.
Yes.
Auckland Park. Now, I used to come to Strasbourg, by the way.
Yes.
You
also came to Strasbourg?
Yes.
Even before we met at Elvo?
Yes, no, definitely. I was coming to Strasbourg. Strasbourg, Tyson will tell you. And the other guys that we used to meet. Some of the guys from New School, we met at Rec Farm.
During the concerts and all those things.
Because it was me that was doing those things.
Football, Norman and all those.
Those were my boys.
Yes.
And there was a guy that made it easy for me to know the guys who came. So me and Kenny are like buddies from school, from tech. So when I was starting this SRC thing, trying to make things happen, then I started knowing Amakrubo New School, Abashante, Zombos of this world, and I had to know everybody.
Yes.
So for me, it was like, like an intro of some sort to get into the space. And I got into the space. I came to Strasbourg. We were preparing a show at Rec Farm. And I think we were busy with, there's a product in the
maybe Abashante or something.
Yes, you're busy with
Abashante. Speech or something.
No, it was
because I remember Mafigizolo came to me first, even before going to Kalaba.
Exactly.
Yes.
So when we were busy, it was Stitch, it was Abashante with the real Abba before Zombo.
Yes.
And by that time, Besfiga Jela Peppers Chini, You know, look, Capitizela, and Arthur is always making noise. Shouting. Okay. I was so from that point on, I then started the transportation. The first trip we did with Mafokate, we went to Devon, the Devon July. We didn't have money to go to Devon. We had money just to go in. But coming back, sleeping, we didn't know.
Yeah. In fact, those days we didn't care.
We didn't
People
care.
Don't know.
We
never
in the garages. We did anything.
And we would eat, and we were the happiest people.
Exactly.
Now you've got all the monies, but you're not as happy as then.
No.
We didn't care when we were going to sleep. People don't know that about us.
We went to Devon July, my first Devon July.
And you enjoy it.
I didn't know what the heck is happening here. We slept in the car. There came a mosquito. Julius came in. Hey, so. Hey, the show, you want to perform album, rap promote. We went in, we rock, bruh. We had 3 shows that weekend. We came back with money. We were chucking the money all the way to Kakhis. We didn't care less go to Banutin. We were just, whatever that you want to buy, you buy. There's petrol. So, you know, from those days, then I was like, oh no, this is
where the industry is. Because when you came to me, we were at Urban Brew.
Yes.
It was after a shoot.
Yes.
And you were transporting, was it the audience?
Audience. I was doing audience transportation.
For Urban Brew, for the show. What was the show?
It
was not live.
It was Castle Light.
Castle Light something. Castle
Yes.
something.
Yes, it had Castle
Before
in there.
it was called Live M
Yes,
and Live and all those.
No, Live M's came later. So the guys used to say to me, Nuna, bring people. Every Friday I was there, bringing people. And now this Friday, there comes Arthur. Arthur is a guest. Then you know what Arthur said to me? Arthur says to me, Mona, on Monday, come report to work. I'm like, report to work, ganjan, man, let's keep on. Mona, come report to work. Then I went into 999.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history. We had fun. We had our 999 shy, 999 fry, you know.
All those combis.
Hey, I remember one day when we went
But you guys were working hard.
Hey, in fact, we were. You remember when we went to, and I think it was Northwestern Limpopo, when there was that eclipse.
Yes.
That
yes.
year.
When we were trying to look at it with those cameras, yes. It was during Mapungube.
Yes. So the road trip was so exciting that all of us were not thinking about the show. We're only thinking about what is this eclipse all about?
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Hey, you've got a memory. I even forgot about the eclipse.
No, when they, I remember, you know, the late brother Biza, may his soul rest in peace. You know, we made things happen. You know, so I feel like, personally, when I'm sitting and looking at myself now, I will always say to people, I owe a lot to you. You know, because if that door was not open, people would have known there's a Thobela out there.
But what I liked about you, you took the baton and you ran, Thobela.
No, I ran a race. I ran a race.
People don't understand.
No, I ran
and
a
you
race.
worked for major labels in the country.
You know what was shocking after you did what you did?
Yes.
We're in Sun City, my first encounter with the Summers. I didn't have a place to sleep. I was driving an old Cressida, the blue one. Then I'm going to the Summers. Angazi skipper. Maria. Eka kena ka Sun City. Kapaka skorokoro sakara kavaga mount. You know, when I went to main hotel, then the late Orak and Mike,
yeah.
They were standing at the door. You know what they said to me? The same thing that you said. People don't believe good somewhere. I never sent a CV. It was like,
I think with you it was based on your character. You have a bubbly character. You talk to somebody, you make a joke, they become your friend.
Mike, I didn't know him.
Yes.
Orak, I didn't know them. When I went there, the only person that I wanted to meet was Leslie Sidibe then. Because I was told, Makulupas, Mobambe Loyana, Uzokulman Evin, Uzobamnan. You know, when I went to that door, Mike called and said, Esan, what are you? Hey, I go to this old man and I don't know him. Hey, what's going on? Esan, you used to work with Atane? Then I'm like, yes. I don't know, it was the 1st of May or something. Says to me, on the 1st, I want you still date. There was still a still date then. On the 1st of
but
that month.
But why does he say you used to? Because we never fired you. You ran away, Musa.
No, me, remember, when I left, it was during the time when I was like, no, now it's time for me to have my own
To
thing.
grow, yes.
And I remember opening up my own
Yes.
management company.
Hence I'm saying you
Buisile
wanted to
Management.
grow.
So I wanted to go out and
Yes.
explore.
We allowed you to leave. We would not
taught
have let
me
him.
a lot of things.
We would not
Now-
have released you
No.
because you were such a special talent.
No. When I left, I was like, Malone, let me go hustle and see what can I get. I tried. But Mike took me and said, hey, Monash, come in. Then I went to EMI CCP.
But you must mention which artists you worked with because people don't understand.
Hey.
You were recruited by what kind of label from us to that label, the big names that they had.
You know, when I went to EMI CCP then, people like Rebecca, they were there. Ringo was there. And I think when I was at EMI as well, I had...
Those are giants.
You know, I had an opportunity when Zex and Elvo came.
But even before we get to Elvo,
even before,
because I want you to just mention the label had your Ringo, they had Arthur,
they had
Brenda Fassie.
Let me tell you about Brenda.
Those gospel artists, the traditional
Winnie
music.
Mashavas of this world, Solimuhulus of this world,
The Statamia bands, Maskandis.
Shongen Kupuga, the late Councillor JBC. That man, when he went to buy his Mercedes Benz, he called me and said, hey, daughter, Nozara, they gave him royalties. It was about 250,000. So the old man didn't know how to count in you and didn't know, to speak English. Dlamini, what's allowed? No, he used to call me. You know, he was like a father to me. Concern. So when he went to buy that car, I chose the car for him. I said, Ale, Mercedes 250 is Okfanel. We bought that car here in Randbeck. And I then took Uprenda Fas. Myself and I forgot this guy who was with us at EMI. Me and him were given a task to go with Brenda to FNP, Pirates and Chiefs game. Guess what? We get there on the tunnel, Brenda Plavil. When we get onto the tunnel, so Usis Brenda's got a plastic, that inside the plastic there was liquor.
Yeah.
And inside the plastic there's a CD that we supposed to go play. Remember by that time, Mike, who was doing sound.
Yes.
Now, when I open up your plastic, it says it's late, it's half time, she needs to go in. There goes the booze onto the CD. I look at Mike looks at me. Mike says, Thobela, then send John, what do we do? Like, Mike relaxed, took that CD, Saisula. We started playing the CD.
It played.
No, it played. By who? By force. It played. Mike was fighting with that thing. Like, hey, what must happen? People are crazy. No, Brenda. So all those type of things, they were like too important for me because I got an opportunity to work with superstars like yourself, making sure the brand 999, you know, it's a brand that people know. I remember at some point when we were at EMI.
And I love these stories because people need to understand that there were people behind our success.
No, definitely.
You know, yes,
Definitely.
I might have identified you, but you guys were the driving force.
You know what was good? You identified, and at the end of the day, I then became your manager.
Yes, I remember, yes.
So immediately that happened, people were like, and one line that you taught me, I will always remember that line. We're here in Midrand, Nabusis Kon. I think there was Sunday World. They were writing nonsense about us. And you said to me, Toel, don't stress. Because I was stressing
Yeah,
in the corner.
remember, yes.
Then you said to me, Toel, bad publicity is as good as good publicity. Go for it. Do your thing. I was like, Dimani. It was the time that we hit Tutus, my brother. I mean,
Oh, yes.
slapping
Yes.
that issue. And I was like, Arthur, this thing was shy. They were like, Toel, please, relax. This thing will fly. This thing will go. Our brand will grow. Guess what happened? We went above in terms of numbers. People started to realize, oh, okay, there's this thing that's happening. And for me, it was like, I was scared, but you gave me that thing to say, even in the future, whoever writes nonsense about me, I always go like, Bala, because I know where I stand.
I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes they do it to distract you.
From what you are
You
doing.
know, most of the time, they do it to distract you.
Nothing
You
else.
know, and they can't write about you if you're not anything.
No, they
You
must
know,
look
you
at
have to be something for
that
them to
makes
write
them.
about you.
I think during those days, you really did wonders, you know, to me. Because even when I was at EMI, they will write something bad about Mendoza. I will fight. They will write something bad about Rebecca. I will fight. And understand, I'm fighting a good cause that protects the brand. But at the same time, whilst you are writing, I'm getting rates going up. This artist gets to be booked. I mean, Mendoza went to PE for one show, but we came back with 4 shows. Just during that time, they were writing nonsense about him.
You know, I want us to get to an era of Elvo. But there's a lot of things that I need to ask. Yes, but no, it's fine. Let's get to the Elvo because you met them at EMI. You know, after 999, it was EMI, and then you met Abu Elvo Lab with Mayoni Production.
What then happened there? I think Vusile was our A&R. Leslie Sidibe was the legal part, and then there was Bramaik, Braorak, and then myself running the marketing and PR with Tyson and the other guys. Zex comes and sits in the foyer with Elvo. They came, I think if not, Bezenge Pass from Teben. They were looking for this EMI. So when they got there, Machita, hey man, Zex is sitting there. Then Pramak says to me, hey man, there was one thing about that old man.
Yeah.
He saw talent when you didn't say it. He said to me, there's gold there. And when I told him, you can convert that into something big. I'm like, bro, Mike, here's a CD, there came Vus. We listened. They were signed on the spot.
On the spot.
To say, this is where the music industry must go. And when I took up that brand, Elvo Dirango, people were like, Thobela, nenzani manje. This sound, as he understand the chose, because Joburg had its
own unique sound.
You know, unique and identity sound. But the Durban sound, when it came through, I was like, By the way, I've got the KZN blood in me. Because at some point, I
And
grew
that's
up
one
that side.
aspect we need to address, you know. But continue with this one.
When the guys came in, I sasain. You know, the first show performance of Elvo Durango, it was at the Josie FM birthday parties, the one that you used to make sure that we are there.
Yeah, we used to go
there in the park.
Year in, year out.
Hey, you know Elvo, when Mkharimbe was performing that song of his, the Tuganai,
Yeah.
people were going crazy on stage, and Elvo was supposed to come after Mkharimbe. Imagine that is your first ever. The boy was like scared, like, you know how we went on stage? I had to drag him by the clothes. Prince Joseph will tell you. I said, yeah, when he went up the stairs, he was shaking. And then I said, give him the mic.
Yeah, when uzosebenza.
And the song went ballistic.
Anyway, that style of his.
The crowd was like, what the heck? Then we moved. From that point, we never looked back. And the boy became a superstar. Life happened, you know, life things go up and down. But I strongly believe that there was one brand that I will always, when I sleep at night, I say to myself, I made this thing.
Yeah, you guys worked hard, eh?
No, that one.
You worked hard. In fact, talking about that, we need to also visit Elvo.
Yeah,
can we please
No,
make
we
a
can,
plan?
because Mina, we are at least we are in constant communication.
Yes, we talk, but we need to visit him.
Mina, when I go home, I do.
Yes. Please
pass,
take me along, because I really
when
need
I
to.
move from Joburg to Vryheid, home, my homestead, I via Newcastle.
Because people don't understand that me, you, Elvo, Chomi, taught the whole country together.
Exactly. Snelko.
Yes. We taught the whole country
we did
together.
A lot there.
So we became one big family.
Exactly.
You know, you wake up every day, you see
You see
Elvo,
this person.
you know.
Yeah,
so it feels bad now in his condition that, you know, we are not there. I feel like I owe him, you know, we need to go there.
Even the country owes him.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at the music evolution, the country owes him. You know, it's not a must, but I believe that there are many artists out there that we need to make sure that even those that don't know them, they must know who these people are, because they changed the game.
Yes.
They were game changers, and we need not to ignore.
Yes, what he did is legendary.
No, it is. Still today, when you play that song, I mean, people go mad. Bang, sugela.
Thobela, when you speak Sotho or Tswana, no one would say you are from KZN. Please explain this KZN Kagiso, the KZN Gauteng Vryheid Kagiso thing. I struggle to understand it because you are pure Zulu, but you are also pure Tswana.
Tswana, no. In terms of speaking, yes, you are correct.
Yes.
Remember, I was born in the Ratong Hospital, which is in Kagiso, because my mother was staying in Kagiso and my father was staying in Kagiso Hostel. So I was born that side. So Kagiso is mainly made of Abetswana, you know. So the language started there with Nsekasi, Namachita. So, but the roots is KZN. So even my matric, I matriculated in KZN. That's where in Malambul High School, where TJ Zintle comes from, at an house. That is the area where I matriculated at. So that relationship between me and KZN is more to do with my father's side. So I will go there, make sure that this Ndoseka is right, visit Homestead. Whenever there's something, the brothers will call me. So there's that thing. But Gauteng became where I do a lot of my life in terms of business, any other thing. It was Gauteng.
Because I know you well, but I don't remember even having to go deep into this story. Because sometimes I say, okay, he's now doing Maskandi concerts in Gauteng. Is this a child of a migrant worker that met the wife in Kagiso at the hostels or something? Because your story is fascinating. When I look at how you fuse these cultures and do it in Gauteng, because at the moment you are a custodian of Maskandi music in Gauteng, but we know you as a Gauteng person,
yeah.
But originally it's KZN.
I think mainly, Maestro, it's more to do with being diverse. I always say to myself, I want to try things differently. Remember, I think when we were at EMI or before I went to Sony, there were times when I was doing a one-man show groups of some events in Coronation Park. I started with Mafokate and friends. Then I came with Elvo and friends, then Wantando and friends. It was annual events. So the idea there was to say, let's acknowledge people when they do right. Unfortunately, the concept died because of politics in the space. But the idea there was to say, I want to show diversity in what I do. I don't want to do what Ada is doing. When Ada is doing something to do with legends, I don't have to go and compete with. I must actually come up with something
unique
where somebody will say, in Gauteng, Maskandi, West, in Kagiso, Ebatswanin.
Yes.
It's 6 years
But you look
now.
at the crowds.
6 years now.
Hence I said, was your parent from somewhere that you're dead?
My father is from KZN. Even now,
and then he met the wife there.
In Kagiso.
And they created this monster.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a product of...
Now you are selling the culture now.
And my mother, West Part, originally is from KZN, in Ngutu.
Wow.
That's where my mother originates from.
And they came here just to create you.
And then they delivered this person, that is me. And when I look at such, I always say to people, there are things that I think I always pick up. If you look at all the concepts that you did, me, I look, when I'm sitting at home, Papa, go Shebil. When you think I'm not, I look and say, oh, you remember when you started this podcast?
Yes.
What did you say to me?
Yes.
I said, no, I'm loving sports.
Yeah.
I get in.
Yeah. You remember that?
Then I was like, I no comment. I know and I told you, I said, I know what's going to come out of this. But I kept quiet. Because I feel like there are things that you do, people don't think you can do. People, when they look at you, they say, Ada, the musician. Full stop. They don't look at Ada, the communication specialist, a marketer of note. So if people can start to not to look at us at face value, then they'll understand what inside of us there are things that make people go like, I never thought Umaskandi in Gauteng. Look at how many people are trying to do it now. Sure. Now Maskandi in Gauteng, people, others are calling me and
no, I mean, you look at these ones here, they always even argue about Maskandi. Guys, you remember the topic about, they say there's two types of Maskandi. There's one for You say one for the youth, ne? Yes. And townships.
Ama 2000.
Yes, they have certain maskandi.
No, I call.
Yes, because they were arguing about it.
That's why when you look at my show will give you both worlds. I will give you your original maskandi, which is the Thokozani Langas of this world, Alim Kube, Ingane Zoma.
And they would be the Mafokate one.
Yes, then I go and look at Mafokate.
And the other one, guys, we were arguing. I mean, I was saying I love both, but they were saying, "Hi, we don't want this." Mtandeni versus Khuzani.
Yes.
I was saying to them, Minang Batanda Bonge, these ones are saying, no, this one is for old people, this one is for young people.
No. When you look at it, it's more to do with understanding the culture. If you listen to a Limit song, you listen to a Intengane song, you're then talking to Ama 2000. Now, now you are talking to legends. People, because my view, Mina, is that I need to teach people where this thing comes from. I need to move from the legends into the young ones, so that the young ones must know good. Whilst we are attending to this thing, ipumada. That is why it's going to be important even in future that I think we need to think about this and look at who can fund this thing. We do something like what we are doing, Nama Legends, but we make it not indoor. I know you are scared of rain and all these things. I know your problems, but we need to take a chance.
But you know why do I do indoors? Ne? I'm scared of the rain. Point one. Point two. It's costly to produce a TV outdoor show, because with me, my concerts go on TV.
Let me tell you something. We need to take a chance on this thing.
Yes.
Because this year, I want to do this show that you will see. We'll announce it June, July.
Yes.
We'll give you an idea of a lineup that you must look at. That lineup will tell you, Uti, we are moving to another direction.
Yeah.
But it's the same concept.
Yes.
Remember when we started Effect Devon Rocks with DJ Tir? Because my life is all over the show.
That's why I wanted. Hey, your life is interesting, man. It's so much fun. That's why I've been begging you to come here, because people just look at you. They don't understand. They don't understand the power and what you've done. But talk about that concept, and then we go back to Abu Tira, and then back to Summer Awards. You need to just.
Yeah, I think
people need to respect you.
I think when you look at this type of show that I'm thinking of, it's a show that I want to sell through social cohesion, but also give you who are we as black people. But sometimes what I feel like people who do events, they just do them for the sake of highest events in the castaway and that's it.
Since mad.
Exactly.
And people forget that
no.
Regardless of trying to make money, first you are solving a problem. You are bringing something to people. You are giving them something that will change how they feel.
Exactly.
A feel-good kind of concert. Now you are talking social cohesion. People think, ngenze concert ngoba ngifuna imali. They don't realize that first it's about solving a certain problem, entertaining people.
That is, Manuman, that is what arts and culture must do. When you look at our principles of arts and culture department, it's the first line that you always find is social cohesion. And people don't understand that we need to nip it in the bud. How do you do it? You must make sure that AMA 2000, we complain about their behavior. How do you solve this behavior, AMA 2000? Take them into a space where they will then engage with elders. But Nalama elders, when they engage, there must be real elders to these ones. So that you must be able to sit down with the young person and communicate. If you want things to be right, so entertainment space must address those things. So whenever I do a show, you look at my lineup, there are old people, there are young people. Even the crowd that comes in, there's young people, there's old people, and it's always peaceful. Because we're driving that message to say we can assist these young ones to make good out of their lives. So I think even this year we're taking it a step further. We'll announce it at some point, but when you look at it, you'll then realize, this one was going here now, but moving with the same vehicle.
As an event promoter, I look at Kagiso. It's a small township, according to me.
It's not that small now.
You know why I say it's small? Not everybody will attend your event. So where do you get the bravery to take an event there. And it's not small as a township, but it's small when you look at the fraction that will go to the concert.
No,
it's a big township.
Yeah.
I mean, you can drive from, I always say ShopRite to what, to that stadium where we used to play football.
Yes, Kagiso Stadium and them. I think the idea of going to Kagiso was the very same idea of social cohesion. Remember, in Kagiso, you'll have your typical shows. Your Mapianos, what. You'll have those shows there.
And they are usually small.
Small shows.
Yes.
But I said to myself, I don't like doing small things. Because when I take a risk, I must either make it or fail. That is the two things that are there. So when I went in there, look at my first year, we had 500 people in that big stadium. 500.
But you were still brave.
But I said, Angi me, I will push it till it happens.
Joined on the second one.
Yes, you came on this. Actually, you came after COVID.
Yes.
Because after COVID, we did the one that we did with Mzansi Magic.
And I said, my brother needs help. Let me go help.
Came in.
Yes.
And thank you. And people, when we started to move there, people were like, Abetswana were like, Ay, Mazulu, Mukahizu, Maskandi, Wadala.
And now they're the ones posting.
Clientele manj. It's them. Because I had to make sure that I drill this thing and say, we cannot fail. The idea was, at some point there was a war between Hostel and Kagiso One people. We lost about 6 young people there in that particular thing. And as a minister of a church, it was more now to say, you need to do a reconciliation. But one way of doing it, let's carry on with your show. Your show will address that particular problem. In that show, we hire 40 to 50 to actually 60 patrollers from the township. Mixture of people. 20 young people annually. So we've got 80 people that benefit from that. And when you look at them, it's guys from the hostel, from the township. I want them to work together in one space so that they can understand each other's behavior. Because people look at people bus hostel with this eye. And I'm saying to people, these are human beings. What they need is integration into the society. So this show is meant to, that's why I had to keep on pushing it, money or no money, you push it till you get where we are now. So I believe we would 6 years, now we're going to the 7th year.
Fast, yeah?
Now we are going to the 7th edition.
So fast.
So I feel like it's one of those shows that it's people people like your Kwaito artist, a legend, some of them are calling me. Because
this
thing is growing.
Yes, when you look at that brand, it's growing.
So I'm like, no, ask our figure, but we are coming.
Yeah,
slowly. Something
you don't want to contaminate it.
You must come nicely so that it takes the shape of Effect Devon Rocks. Because when Tira came and said to me, I didn't say no to him. Because remember, between me and him, there's a relationship from the duty days when you are still playing in Durban and Mina was at Vets. And as an SRC, I will go to duty. And as an SRC, what was good for me, national brand, I became a treasure of SATU. Now, all these SRCs, the money be Puma game.
Do you think people are giving Tira the respect he deserves?
No.
I feel like he's done a lot for us as well. But people think he's just part of this new generation. No. I feel like people don't know who Tira is.
No, they don't.
His story is not told correctly.
He must tell his story.
Yes.
I think
because
Tira must tell.
A lot of people don't know that when we used to go to Durban, we all felt there was a need for us to meet this young boy called Tira.
Tira made things happen, and he's still doing it till today. When I met Tira, we were at duty. He was with Socks, was at the Ben Vibe. And I said to him, me personally, let's have a relationship, but I want us to work at some point in future. And he was like, you know that voice. I said, that's what I want. Because I believe if I work with you, that will make me be a better person. And it happened. We went.
So you were part of Fact Durban Rocks?
Yes. When Fact Durban Rocks, Tira will be playing at the race course. Me, I'll be preparing for the event at night. So when he comes in after playing, he knows who Tops was here, things are happening. I mean, I was with him there for a good 3-4 years. And that thing was like flying like seriously. And with Tira, it was more to do with, I even worked at Afrotainment. Not just, I was a label manager there to say, let's make this thing happen. Your big Nas of this world, I made sure that brand becomes big. DJ Sindo, DJ Fisherman, all those type of artists that people know. I made sure people know how many summers we won, what did you do on the road. So it was more to do with, there's a lot of things that I had to do in life where I had to make sure that I make people famous. But people were asking, "Ubandle out Chilena?" But I didn't want to be in the
How
face.
How important it is to stay behind the scene but still be passionate? Because at the moment, you find a situation where managers even want to take photos before the artist.
It's important to stay in your lane. What may not work for me was staying behind the scenes worked. And I would always say to people, having these dots that I normally connect with, to say I started with Maestro, I moved. All these people that I worked with, I never became in front of you. I was always behind you to say, hey Baba, the shine is yours. Me now, I will make it happen. Even when I went to Afro, I was like, guys, let's push any brand. Even now when I go to Durban, in Kiganje Airport, it's not a problem to say Xolani Dlamini. Because people know Thobela went in.
You paid your dues.
I paid. I don't think Durban is more like my second home type of thing. Because of when I worked, I always kept quiet, and then I said, let my work do the talking. So that when people are asking, well, what was Mazaganjan? There's this guy that that's why artists will start calling me, still management. I was like, I'm focusing on this brand. Because I build it, make it big, I jump to the next project. Because I believe that if you work project by project, now I get satisfied to say, I've delivered this, I've got the results that I can splash around.
And that also helps nurture your brand, as a business person, because you had to do it one step at a time. Yeah. But these days we rush.
No, you know why people rush? The lifestyle of today needs money and big money. So we don't have people who are patient in building brands. Immediately we can be patient, we'll go somewhere. That's why sometimes you find Amanyama brands, they go like boom, 2 minutes. It's because of people who were in a rush. They were not planning. They didn't have a 5-10 year plan type of to say, ask yourself, Arthur Mafokate having to sustain in this business for all these donkey years. It's patience. And it's you thinking, okay, this one is not working. How do I venture into this one? You must be that type of, but abantu bamanje, no, not talking ill about these managers that we have now, but I feel like they are not in the game for the real reason. They are in the game for themselves.
Others are fine though.
Yes, there are good ones.
Others are fine, but
there are good ones.
We need to help those ones that don't understand the importance of managing an artist or managing a brand, so that they understand. When you walk now, everybody that you've worked with still gives you that respect.
No, definitely. I go to Kailami now, stand at the gate and call Sis Ribs. Say 18.
She'll come.
She doesn't even say, Naiko, then there's that vibe. When I meet him, Dumasilel, it's like, and people go like, who's this guy? Why Arthur is greeting this one?
And with respect, you can see that.
Because people know the value that we have to make things happen for this artist. But Abamanje, I don't know managers now. I'm not gonna lie and say I know them, because sometimes you end up talking to an artist directly.
Yes.
Because the person that you're supposed to talk to, artist. So where's the difference in the two? So we need to do education and training in the space.
Let's go to the summers, or do we go to? You joined another company, Reggie's company.
Before Reggie, I went to Sony.
Sony?
When I went to Sony, I was talking to Sean Watson, and Sean had this idea that had to do with coming up with a CCP type of an ideology at Sony. I went there, and they had a guy who was already leading that particular ideology, which was Bradley, and the other guy who passed away during COVID. So when I went there, I went in to assist the team now, to say, team, now that we've got this particular concept, how then do we make it happen? And the unfortunate part then was that, when you're coming from your own independence, you have this mentality today, man, I want to find a benz the way in Kabanga. Only to find that protocols and all these things. Then they start, and by that time, the person that was at Sony, by the way, guess who was there? Zakes Bantwin. Zakes was doing A&R.
Oh yes, ne?
At Sony. So even Zakes was like, I tops, I push A&R marai, konto ngahlangani. Lento lesifuna ukuyenza, it needs you. Come. Then I went in, had a meeting with Sean and Zakes and the guys. No, we had an agreement.
And you and Zakes had ups and downs.
Yes, no.
And I was always caught up in between, eh?
No, we had.
Because I knew both of you. You know, Zakes is a fan, and Zakes see me as somebody that has to mentor him. And Thobela has worked with me, and you guys always have these differences.
No, but let me tell you, in life, you must have those for you to grow each other. And you cannot now come between me and Zakes. You can't. Remember, I was reminding him last month when we were talking on the phone. I said, hey, Wena, you owe me. Then I was like, I tops in man. I said, Unandi, Mrs. Matida now. Yeah. When you call, you know, the story there was so funny. I was at Sony, and we were supposed to release a single Ganandi. Because Nandi was also singing, but this house vocals and stuff. So there's this song that we were supposed to go push at the summers. You remember the summers when there was a train that moved from Joburg, we were going to Soweto Theatre for the launch. It was on a Wednesday. Sipos Tole arranged that train. Yes. So we went in there. So I was going with Unand. The idea was I wanted to push this single at the launch of the summers. I get in there, I said, the song was hot, eh? Took the song, the guy was playing there. Whilst the guy was playing, Zakes comes to me, says to me, Toben, I don't want to hamba naye, unaman. Yeah, now I'm like, Zakes,
you want to promote the music,
man. No, tops. No, wait. Losses low. Nzodmang swara.
Yo. Such bravery.
Let me tell you, and when I gave the guy the CD was something, I went to Nandi, came in. Send me to Nandi, Zakes comes. Zakes didn't go there. He shot straight and said, Toen, Zomtata losses, then he created Nandi. That was it.
And he's a charm again, was Zakes again.
That was done. When I left there, going back, I'm like, Zakes Maraudungas. And I was reminding him last month, Mayun, at I tops, one season numbers.
So he owes you double now. For the career and the wife.
It's a brother. I mean, we had a
humble brother. Yeah.
I remember the bad accident when we lost one of our DJs being booked by the late Kelly's ex-husband at Prosper, there by Mpumalanga side Secunda. Now, about the airport, they are not telling me that they're at the airport. They're rushing to a gig, Babakai golf, to go to a gig. I fought it, Prosper, like you don't understand. I say, Prosper, I'm sitting with a Golf 5, line. I could have picked up the guys there. When I'm giving the guys a Golf 1, and they end up in an accident, and I lose a DJ out of it. Zakes and Elvo went to the hospital during that accident, and it was a painful process, I must tell you, because these guys are in hospital. DJ Buddha passed on, Now I'm caught up. DJ's family must come in. Zex is in hospital. Elvo. You know, those type of things. And people don't understand what we go through when things like that happen.
More especially you people that are behind the scenes.
You know, there's media here asking questions. Why we moto? So I had to protect a whole lot of things. Protect to prosper and say, no, you can't be story so that this thing can go away. But it's a relationship, you know. So I think when you look at your Zexes, your Elvovos of this world, it was more about us having to start something. Let's do it as, you know, as a team. But unfortunately, in a team, you always have your different ideas at some point. When money starts to come in, some of us lose focus because we want to, I need to have a family, I need this, I need that. And you start to forget that this is a team. So it was along those lines, we're like, guys, you know what, Asluganin. And we split it. But after a while, we then said, no. We can split in terms of business.
Yeah.
But the blood that we have here, we must keep it. Till today, Zex goes to check on Elvo, till today. Which is one thing that I always say, we must appreciate life.
No, Zex is a human being.
You know, that one he's a super, you know, it's one guy that I'll always say to people, then you'll see a human being. Because
he's a proper person, that one.
He was, he comes from a very good family. I remember when he lost his mom, we all went in there.
Because I remember even when Black Coffee was to do our first remixes years ago, Zex is the one that brought Black Coffee.
Remember him, Black Coffee, the Shana gang, they come from the same institution. So that grouping, and it helped us a lot. Even myself, I learned from the guys, because when we had Mayoni, we'll then have Demo, we'll then have Shana, we'll then have Black Coffee, working together. I was like, I'm in a space of superstars again. And that for me was a learning curve to say, when you are independent, you don't have to work alone. Have a string of people around you that when things fall apart, you know where to run to. And I mean, it has worked. Because anywhere, even if my things are going west, I can call and say, Mafokate, it's because of I didn't mess up. No. We have to have the humanity in us to make us grow. But our industry sometimes makes people to be ruthless, sometimes. But it also goes with your personality, how you are brought up, the type of a family you come from. You know, I always say to people, if I knew how to ride a horse, I would have been a horse rider yet time. You know, I used to look at him there. When I was like, I'm scared of
it. Because that thing is high.
But I love it, but I'm scared. So you see, where you come from in terms of family, it says a lot about who you are.
The humility.
You know, it comes from there. I mean, when I look at your mom.
Everything, the discipline.
God. Lolo. And I'm like, this is what we need.
And you missed her yesterday around the same time she was here with my dad. They always come here all the time. They're just, I remember their neighbors.
Exactly, they're here. So I think with us, it's more to do with, people look at us as music people, but they tend to forget that we are human beings. We've got things that we also need to.
And people always get shocked because me and you always have differences, but they don't understand. After a week or a month, it's like it never existed.
You know why we need those things? It's like, you cannot be married to your wife and you don't fight with her. Guys, let us be honest. Problem is, people think when I differ with you, they personalize it. It's a difference of opinion. When I say to my wife, today I'm going to phone rice. We say, we are going to fight about that family. But I must understand she did it out of love. But me rice. So you look at it from that point to say, let's differ. It's good to differ because now we have ideas that we're going to have, that we're going to say, I'm on Thobela part.
You mentioned something very good, you know, about your wife. Thobela, I've known you for years. No,
I think it's how I grew up. And I will always cherish the moment I spent with my mother and my father.
But a person like you, we call him Miss Shimani.
It's a very good title. It's a very good title to
But
get.
that kind of discipline for so many years, it's madness.
No, it's
You're
not.
actually crazy.
No, it's not, because let me tell you, it's to do with discipline. It's to do with what is it that you want in life. When I decided to get married, I took a decision. Rain, shine, don't, I'm sticking with this woman.
But why?
Till today. I love her. No, I love her.
Korobela.
No ways, nothing.
What?
It's love. I love my wife like you don't understand. You don't. I love my kids. I love. You know, even if I go on holiday.
Thobela, I'm asking again. Window danger.
I'm a very good husband. I'm a very good man. It's. I don't know. I believe in principles of loyalty. I believe, Guti, I married that woman because I love her. And she has never given me a reason to even look at somebody else.
Yeah, because I struggle to understand
Never.
that aspect
Since you've
about
known
you.
me,
Yes, that's why I struggle to understand
you
that.
have never seen me to Thobela in cherry.
Guys,
No.
if anybody knows a scandal about this man, please let's expose him, because man, I've never seen anything.
You
More
can
than
try.
20 years.
You can try.
Yeah,
You can try.
more than
It's 20 years of marriage.
Yes.
Of marriage.
Wow.
20 of marriage. And I believe that, Guti, you ought to find a better way of understanding your partner.
Or maybe ngobo thanda imali, you focus on
No,
working.
no. I focus on family.
Okay, let's go back to this. You in a company garage.
Mabala Noise.
Mabala Noise,
Yeah.
Summer Awards,
Yeah.
and we left it at Sony. Which one did you? Let's go with the
I
sequence.
left, when immediately I left, Sony didn't stay long.
Okay.
Because the products as well, they were like not talking to me
Yeah,
somewhere.
yes.
You know, because we
You
had
have to
products.
feel the
So I was
music
like,
as well.
Yeah. No, let me move. So when I moved, I was supposed to go to Universal, by the way, Sydney Dlamini. But ngajike emnyango. It deal was done, but ngajike emnyango. Why I turned back, it was because of Reggie then approached and said, hey, Ndot, na brand Mabala Noise. I want this thing to be big. And I've been moving around. Your name pops up.
Yeah, all the time.
And the Minangwas. Remember, Reggie is a politician.
Yes.
Angwas, you won't know me, but when you're youth league. Me, I'm not youth league, I'm an elder league. So, so we then met and we had this thing. Then he said to me, can you take this thing and run away with it? Because when I'm sitting, I'll pump in money. I love it. I love what I do. But I think now I need a person that is within the space. And that time we were competing with, what's this other label? Khos.
Oh, yes.
West Javas and them were
Ambitious.
Ambitious. So it was Mabala versus Ambitious everywhere. So I said to Reja, no, we'll beat him 10-0, don't worry. And when we went to the metros, we bought a suitcase, remember, to go collect trophies. And people are like, how did you know? I said, nah, we've been in Durban for the past 2 weeks doing the work on the ground. So the voters are with us.
Yeah.
When now what your song is big, it's not an issue.
You
I
want the
work with
votes. The
numbers.
people must vote.
The people must vote. And we had a strategy, we worked, did road shows, we did everything, and we came back with awards. And the brand was like massive.
Then what went wrong?
I think what went wrong, it was more to do with, one, we had too many acts, I think, that were trying to
But they were
develop.
big names.
No. Some of them were trying to even, remember we had Gigi Lamains, we had the two boys, and the idea of Mabala was to take artists overseas. Two boys went up, did a collabo, Ricky went up, did a collabo, you know, everybody.
But the money was there to do that.
No, the money was there to do that. But I think at some point in any business, there's a point where things don't go the way you might have planned.
But why was the Mabala one shot? Like you go like this and then disappear?
Yeah, things happen in this business, bruh. Things happen. I think it was more to do with me personally. When I look at it, I feel like we had many artists, but in terms of pushing them, we didn't have too many hands.
But if you have too many artists, you have the money, you want to be in the business, cut the artist, but stay in the business. Why is the business gone?
The business went this way, and also the thinking. alignment as well became a problem, because when you're sitting there, I'm thinking artist, but my team is thinking, let's also focus on doing events and be there.
You tried events as well, ne?
Yes,
Yes.
the way. I mean, there was one a pedestal annual event. There was
In fact, I went there. I remember.
at
Yes, the
dam,
huge one.
at the dam.
Yes.
And then there was also an issue of 10 July. Those double
Marquees.
those double marquees there, you know. So I think we like took most of the money from the artist business side into the eventing side. The idea was to invest in those events and say, how do we put a brand there? Only to find that in the event space, hey, there's a lot of money needed there. So without proper sponsors, what happens?
Yeah, you don't
You
survive.
have to take from A to B, and the next thing, there's a hole there.
It ends up being a party.
Instead of it making money for you, you know. So it ended up becoming like that situation of we are now looked at as party people, not as business people. So there, I mean, I was like, ish. Ideology-wise, khona la kungahlangani khona. But the good thing is, between me and Reggie, we still, even last week at a meeting, there's something that we are planning in the pipeline to say, let's try this.
Where's Regivel?
No, he's around. He's around. He's also a minister like me. He's a pastor. So we are taking that Christian route.
I know you've always loved gospel.
Yeah.
From day one since I
Remember
met you.
the song that I
Yes.
did
That's
in
what
the
I'm saying.
studio?
Yes.
And the song that I wrote for Winnie Mashara
Yes.
in one of her albums. And I still need to go claim my royalties of that song. Yes. Samro, you owe me.
So you do gospel because you want to sing gospel, or you do gospel because of the belief?
I think on the gospel side of business, when I started working Nabo Winnie, Soli Moholu, the late Makhariba Uchabela, you know, IPCC, Amatodana Sewesel. By that time, remember, I was still within the Methodist Church. And I was a youth leader in the church and also a YMG member, which is Amatodan. So it was a spiritual journey that I'm still on. So it was not just doing gospel, but it's more to do with spiritual, you know, upliftment of myself. And I did it up until Maskandi came in, you know, when the traditional thing came in, but I still said, because I've got this persuasion of the spiritual aspect, this won't stop.
Because I see you wearing the
No,
you know,
I'm a pastor in the Zion
the church pastor, minister clothes.
Yes, Endumiso in the Church of Christ, ngumfundisi in the church. I've been ordained, not to 30 degree somewhere where I didn't start. I'm ordained.
You are in church, ufaka nesiphandla.
Yes, Nas.
So
Nas.
how does it work?
No, it works proper. Remember, I'm an African. And in an African way, even if you can go uyosonda. Tina, this is how we believe. We believe that uNkulunkulu sithi umveli nqangi, you know, God. But also, we don't forget who we are as Africans, our
Yes,
ancestors.
yes.
So annually, I will then be celebrating with my ancestors and my family. Ukuthi, you are still watching over us. Because
Do you do it with church people?
yes.
Or you separate the two?
No. But yes, they come. Even this thing is not a taboo of like people think it is. It's a traditional celebration of our own.
Okay.
But you still move to your spiritual being.
So is it angithi khona amapostola?
Yes.
And then there's Mzalwane, and there's
Tina Sngamazayon.
oh, okay.
Tina Sngamazayon. Tina, we are the Zion, mainly dominated by Zulus. Mainly dominated by Zulus.
Is there such a thing in church?
No, domination.
Yeah.
If you look at ZCC now, it's dominated by, it's more your Limpopo vibe. But you find it in KZN now. You find it in the Eastern Cape. So even that, you now find the Zion guys in your, what you call, in Limpopo. You go to Northwest. So it's an evolution of Christ, where people must now understand ukuthi we are not just abantu abangena isonto, but we are Africans.
How do we get Africans not to be embarrassed about being themselves but still going to church?
Hey, the problem is, let's be frank, I think the challenge becomes our Model C type of thinking, ukuthi sicabanga ukuthi English is better than isiZulu. That's what the problem is at. Because if you go to a church, other people feel offended. They'll want us to be talking English so that they can feel part of the process. And I think as Africans, we have lost out on that particular front, where we took too much of what the Englishman is saying to us, and we forget our Africanism. So if we can go back to Africanism and ask questions to say, when we grew up, ingane bikwazi ukuhamba ejardini ingagqokanga, but today you can't because of the type of life that we live. So the spirituality, when you now look at it, you must look at it from a point of saying, don't be shy of who you are. If you take your mother and father now and say, we must be proud of that. And we must not be saying, no, because we pay this, now we know, and it's not going to help. It's not going to help anybody. Go to it. You know my kids, they all go to, or they went, one went into, and the other one is still at the modest schools. But they know, when they open that gate, getting into the Dlamini clan, your Zuluness remains here. You don't lose that. We can talk English and it's fine. But then we don't negotiate.
How important is that?
It's very important. Let me tell you, if you look at South Africa today, let's face reality. If you look at South Africa today, couple years down the line, you'll be reminded of this discussion. South Africa, 10 years down the line, if we don't go back to our own Africanism, where we come from as Africans, it will be a country where we have lost the identity of who we are. So immediately we take our kids, let's teach them the real us, not the fake us. Because going to fake us. Fake us is more to do with our Englishness. We are living, even if we can live here in Midrand, but our Africanism must never leave us. Because sometimes, and not even sometimes, at some point it will catch up with us. At some point it will catch up with us. Because if you look at how the foreigners have infiltrated our country now, and you start to ask yourself, in 10 years' time, if we don't keep. That's why those movements, much too much, don't. It's people that are trying to tell us to say, wake up and smell the coffee. Who are you? 10 years down the line, I'll be asking Owam, Kanongwana Mafokate? Mafokate? And I'm like, hey, Mama, Mafokate.
Yeah.
So those type of things, if you don't instill as a father to your kids now,
they'll be lost.
They'll be lost. And when you start to talk about Africanism, they'll be like, what's that? Do you want us to live with? Now they'll tell us, do you want us to live with monkeys? Don't. Because it's that type of a mentality that we are not instilling in our kids. So if you don't instill it, don't blame somebody but yourself.
So this church is led by you?
I have a bishop.
Okay, so you sit every day with a bishop in the same?
Yes, I report to my bishop.
No, but then do you go to a separate church?
No, we are in one church.
Then you sit and then...
We are still going to branch. We have a branch, Gwanongoma, that is still coming up, because we believe in branches. But now we are building this one first. Make sure with Gauteng becomes solid with all the ministers and the bishop and the deacons in the church.
Thobela, there's just so many things about you. We haven't even touched the Summer Awards. People don't know the role you played for Summer Awards.
Yeah.
You are in the creative industries. You are leading a sector. There's just so much about you. You've been a minister's advisor.
Yeah.
There's just so much.
Yeah, no. I think let's start with the summers. At the summers I came in, obviously, remember the steering committees and all these things. So when I started to come in via my steering committees, I was more like, let me check what's happening here. And when I got in, I realized, no. how this brand is projected is not right. The Bogostati will tell you, we're in Randbeck, it was an AGM. When I came to that AGM, a comrade came in. I stood up, I said, guys, the voting must change now going forward. Independents, stay one side.
Yeah.
Majors, stay there. 50-50.
The funniest thing about it, I always laugh. Before it got to that,
Yeah.
you know, there was a time, you must ask Chico, we had to march in when they had a meeting, a board meeting, fighting for the very same thing that you guys took over and went ahead with it, because we were tired as well.
I mean, I went in,
We
I was
felt
like,
this major thing was not...
This thing of donating a vote to a Thobela because you are a Risa, sorry, because you are a Sony or somebody, for me, it's more like I'm still, reporting to you. So I don't understand for myself.
Yeah.
When I went in there, I was like, not anymore.
So independence one
Independent
side.
one side. And some people in the room, because they were already being touted by the majors, they were feeling a bit uncomfortable. I said, if you are really independent, come this side. People jumped in, and then I went into the board. From that, when I went into the board, I went in, and we're now electing the chair and the deputy chair. We didn't even waste time. We said, no. As in this, we'll tell you who's the deputy chair.
We want our own
Thobela,
people.
deputizer here. And it went in for years at risk. But when I was there now, the summers came in to say, if you are a deputy chair of the board, you must also go chair the summer board.
Yes.
Then things started to happen. Remember when I came in, we were still going to Sun City. Coming back to Sun City, there were issues in my life. There's money issues, couples, and people are making noise. And I was like, hey, CEO, where to from here? I said, hey, let's go to Durban to reignite this thing. And that strategy worked. Because when we went to Durban, the brand started to live again. But it was
revived.
It was revived in Durban. I mean, people must not look at the Durban event just what it was. It worked. And we went back to Sun City. Now the brand started to come back. But Mina had my own thinking.
Hey, because the summer brand has been going on like this. How do you view that brand right now?
Honestly speaking, I think the brand needs a new lease of life. Let's just be honest. It needs a new lease of life. It needs people that are going to think differently and approach it differently. Because maybe the problem, and I raised this thing at risk in one of the meetings, and there was a point where I think we're supposed to push for that narrative with the CEO to say, why not get summers being given to a lifestyle or somebody to run it? As Risa, you sit as custodians.
It's funny, I asked the same question.
And you let it go.
But you know what's funny? I asked Nhlanhla the same question this week. This week.
No, that's my view. Let them...
Is that a controversial statement or what, or a controversial question though?
No, it's not. The fact of the matter
Why are we thinking like that?
No, the fact of the matter is we love the industry. Not that they don't love the industry. Maybe it's a question of them wanting to protect the brand, not to be maybe diluted or something.
How?
But already the brand has its own ups and downs. What we needed to do now was to say, let's look at a different company with a different approach on how best to do this thing. Because you look at it, you say, okay, when you see the steering committees, the supervisory boards, you are looking at the judges and all these things, and you ask yourself, Witmar, are we doing it right? Are we doing it right? For me, somewhere along the line, take the entire production and out of risk, allocate the budget. So, and maybe say, Company X.
And have it ticking boxes.
Simple as that. Say, Company X, we are going to run this thing. Go look for money. Go to this.
You monitor it.
When you are sitting as a board,
Yeah.
monitoring, the CEO obviously becomes your go-to guy as a production company and the board. It makes life easy for everybody. The CEO is there to make sure that These guys do what it needs to happen, but at the same time reports back to the board. So if it can have that, unlike a Risa sits in, runs the show, and I think it's also overstretching for the CEO. Not that I'm speaking for him, but I feel that go figure a point where even himself, creativity-wise, it gets to be shrinking.
You know what just hurts me about the summers? I go to SAFTAs. I see the same actors I see on TV, the same actors I see on movies attending the SAFTAs. And then come the summers, I don't see everybody that's in the industry being represented. I would love one day, where I would see a Casper Nyovest attending the summers.
That will be a good thing.
I used to boycott summers.
Like him?
Yes, So I know what Casper is feeling because I've been there. But how do we change the narrative?
I think this thing needs a boss parade on its own, to be honest with you. It needs the industry to sit down. But here's the challenge. Our industry is fragmented, big time. You have your RISA, you have your ECO. There's a problem. That's where the problem starts. If we can have one body.
And we formed ECO because independents were not given a chance at RISA. But then RISA started giving us...
And you went back.
Yes, we went back. So why are we not coming together?
That is where the discussion should be now. To say, how do we get these two bodies to come in and sit together in one room and say, by the way, we are here to make money. This is business. It's not personal. Now, when it's business, the language must change. You make sure that your ECOs and the RISAs, they sit in one room and come up with a strategy to say, how do we make sure that Amasama becomes what you and I want to see? Where all the artists are sitting at the VIP side or wherever the side that they are sitting there. You can, even if you're not nominated, you have that thing with, hey man,
yes.
So there's no drive currently to say, yeah, because of it's a vacation, it's a weekend away.
More especially when it's Sunset.
Sunset, weekend away, you splash up on your for the weekend, So it's no more longer about an event that we need to focus on. It's more about tourism aspect. That's where it loses out now. But for you to bring it back, bring quality back, I think even the way you do the judging, the way you do all this, there must just be categories, J. For you to revive it, go to categories and say all the legends. But I once asked a question. I said, if you look at how this, this lifetime is done, for me it's problematic. I asked the question, I said, and I asked it in the board. I said, you look at the lifespan of all these people. How many legends do you have? If you just do 3 in a year, do a night out with legends. Take your show, convert your show, a segment of your show becomes awards under summers. You don't have to stress. Okay, I've got the legends thingy, Amasamaza, come in, let's work. Put money, make sure that my brand runs properly. We award Almal. Because it's so sad that you will get a lifetime award when you are dead.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Whilst we are alive, why not
can't get it.
Why not we take the opportunity and run with it now? So those are type of discussions that I think the industry must now have to say, how do we assist each other? Well, now you might be looking at it from a RISA point of view, I might be looking at it from an ECO point of view, but ultimately it's not about us. It's about that artist. It does not, but he is still making money.
And you wish you could see those kind of people.
You want them
at the awards. You are Maporisas. They
want
don't
them
even
there.
come.
Walk abzas, you want those people there. We want Arthur there. People, we need to tell a story. The problem too, we are not content driven. That's another problem. We just want to do something for the sake of. We need to be content driven.
Talking about that, you are a chairperson of a music sector.
Yes.
And you are watching all these things. And your role is to formalize, even though the music industry is already formalized.
Yeah.
You know, you guys, your job is much easier than other sectors because yours is like
We know where
music
to
is the
go.
most formalized.
We
If
know
you
where
to
to
look
go.
at, you know, what changes are you thinking about, and what's the name of the sector that you are representing?
Fortunate enough, I'm representing a traditional, related sector. It's called mass participation. It's Natik Musa. It's National Traditional Indigenous Contemporary Music of South Africa.
Yo, wait. Natik Musa.
Natik Musa.
Natik Mus.
Musa.
Musa.
Musa, that is South Africa at the back.
Natik, it's
National,
traditional,
indigenous,
contemporary
music.
Oh, okay. It's
of
easy.
SA.
Okay, Natik
So
Musa.
there we are focusing on your clap and tap, your contemporary gospel, traditional music across. It can be Maskandi, Mpaqanga, Statamia, Mbube, Ingoma Busuku, the Tsongas, everybody.
Why, when you go to your Tonga, Sunswani, you just say Tonga, but the others you were giving
No,
names?
remember.
You
Yes.
must state them. Yes, Tona ki ing.
Bahiba.
Bahiba, and then
the
Xhosa.
Sotho music, I can't remember the name.
Okay.
And then there's Xhosa, and then there's, what do you call it? We're not touching on the Khoisan side of business because they fall into your Tlopis and all those things.
Oh, they have
Yes,
that
like,
other one.
yes, they go to the Tlopis. But with us, you look at, in Limpopo, for argument's sake, is Chivenda that we must look at, is the Pedi music that we must look at, is your Mpumalanga.
You know why
and
I have a
one.
problem? When you were mentioning the Zulu ones, you knew them.
No, we knew them.
Yes.
Remember,
but why with the Spady? I mean,
we are
Kutula
still,
even said,
he said
you
something,
said something?
Kori.
Korean. It's
Korean.
Sotho one. Yes, and there's another one for
It starts with an F.
yeah, yes, Sotho as well. Yo, that name.
No, there's a lot.
Yes.
When we went to Limpopo, we even told about Mino.
There's Kiba.
Kiba. We were told about Mino wa Lenyalo.
Yes.
It's, so the problem is, there's a lot of traditional music that is emanating. Like Yamasruma,
How are you guys going to contain that though?
No, we are going to contain it in a sense that we must treat it how we treated your Durban music. What we're calling it, your Gqom and them.
Yeah.
Remember when Gqom came in, everybody thought we'll go like, and I said to people, oh, pause. Some of this music, they will pop and go down. So whenever they pop and you take that name and say yo, it's not going to happen. Let it pop, give it time. Let's see the lifespan. So all this one that are mushrooming music one, I said we're not even going to entertain.
Yeah.
Because it might be a group of 10 people.
Yeah.
And then what? So we are going to focus on what has already been there. You can't not entertain that.
Because it's been there.
It's there, So Tina, our approach is very simple. Our approach is that we need all the traditional, musicians cutting across to start to be in one room. Because the problem is the very same thing that you raised. Why when it's Zulus, it's easy to mention. The challenge has always been Botswanas and the Sothos, they've always been in the back foot. And the sad part of the reality is, and I'm fighting with them every day, they are not vocal themselves. They are scared. I don't know what is the issue. It's only now in Gauteng that we even have a group in Gauteng that is putting everybody in one room, which is what Gauteng must do. Maybe it will be easy then for other provinces to then start to come up. Then we have this board. When you go to choral, which also forms part of us, by the way, at least there's a South African Choral Music Association. You just deal with that one. Clap and tap, you deal with its federation. Even though now we're in Nama, everybody wakes up, yeah, clap.
So choral music falls under you.
Yes.
And this one that they talk about, the you mentioned.
The Tlopis.
Yes. It's what? The name of the sector?
It's called, it's not Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Yes, it's the one for...
So that
Durban.
one doesn't have choral?
No, it doesn't have choral.
Okay, because, you know,
It doesn't have
Minister
choral.
was talking about the choral.
No, choral forms are...
Yes, he was saying he's going big on the choral music.
There is that competition
Yes.
that they are going to do it, I think, in November
Yes.
in Durban.
But are they doing it through you guys or what?
It's only now that you are going to engage.
Okay.
Because people, you know, you can't go and hijack somebody's concept.
Yes.
What you need to do as a board
Is to find
is
a way
to find
of
a way of how
supporting
best to
and
work
aligning.
with you and align. So that when we are there, we are all together. So we are not going to take anything from any. Those who are doing things, we are a support structure now.
How important it is to be a creative leader, you know. You are in the creative industry. You are a leader in the industry.
Hey, being, you know, it's important to be a leader in the space, especially when you have a background of where this thing is coming from, so that you can now start to determine the future of the industry. In a sense that being a leader in the space, yes, it does not come with roses. It comes with a lot of negatives. I mean, people will say things and do this. It's part of the package that you ought to understand. But the fact of the matter is that we, as leaders of the sector, our task is to unite the sector, which is not easy. Why is not easy? In our sector, there's a challenge that people have always been talking about. Whenever there are your typical meetings, you don't find the so-called celebrities there. Zero. And you start to ask yourself why.
And those are the people that need the help.
But they're not
Eventually.
there. They're not there. And now the industry becomes, every day you see new people in all these meetings. You see new faces coming in. And those faces, they are there to check. Abanye, they are there to check cost ukuthi ngayiphathula kanjani inyuku.
Yeah.
No. I mean, let us call it like it is, because we've got too many chance takers, people who have never done anything in the space. But when you wake up, lead. That's why that name of leader, mina nje ngithenje delete it.
Yeah.
I don't like that
Yeah, I
name
see
because I span. In fact, it creates problems. So, as a leader in the space, you know, we need to find a better understanding amongst ourselves first. To say, guys, it's not about Arthur. It's not about Thobela. Ultimately, Thobela won't be there tomorrow. Thobela might be saying, no, I'm building this thing so that 2 years down the line, I'm focusing on my event. And send us cutscene. But somebody
You
must
leave it as a legacy.
somebody must take the pattern and run with it. Because if we don't form these particular structures that are here, somewhere along the line, we are going to lose out. Kuzoba ne vacuum in the space, and it's going to be a free-for-all. So as leaders in the space, we need to sit, agree on how best do we move, not personally, but as a collective.
Me and you have been part of SIFSA, right? And some of you are still believing that SIFSA can coexist with these sectors. How possible is that, and how will that happen?
I think, you know, when it comes to a brand like a SIFSA, there's a lot of work that needs to happen there.
Yes, hence I'm asking this question because I feel like Minister Mackenzie has moved so fast.
He has left
And
everything
he
behind
created what we've been dragging
to do
for
ourselves.
years. And he rushed it. And it's happening. So how do you see the two coexisting together? I struggle to see that, hence I'm asking.
It's a very good question in terms of how do we see them coexisting. That's why I normally say to people, it's upon those people that are leading those structures to find coexistence. In a sense that if you look at the 17 sectors, at some point I had a different view to the minister in a meeting. And I raised my view. I said, music must never be separated into 3.
Yeah.
Let it be one so that we stay with about 14
Yeah.
clusters. But the view was split it, it's too big. And when you split it, you get 2 million each. It means 6 million to the music. With rents and cents, you'll agree. But
Which for me is unfair, but you guys have got reasons why you think it's fair.
you know why it's fair?
Yeah.
Let me be honest with you. Why I looked at it and I was convinced. Even at the beginning, I thought like you saying, no, it's not. If you look at a mass participation, let us be honest. You are talking about a Johannesburg choral choir. It's got about 60 members in it. You then talk about a kwaito scenario. There's Arthur Mafokate, one. You go to Klopis. You know when they do their thing at Klopis in Cape Town, how many people?
I've attended that thing.
So when you look at that scenario, it now tells you to say the separation ratio based on finances makes more sense. Because now, this one, about Karaba mass, they can be able to group, clap and tap when they come to an event, ye pass, one group, full in a pass. So immediately you can structure them in that fashion, and their challenges are not the same, by the way. You get opera, you get orchestra. There you're talking rents and cents, and serious man.
But then what if dancers start saying, we've got modern dance, we've got break dancers, we've got spiritual, we've got...
They could have spoken for themselves.
Oh, is it about that?
You
But you're a leader.
No,
you need to be advising.
No.
You're a leader.
I cannot be jumping into other people's spaces. It is, they know their frustrations.
The danger...
I know my frustrations in the music space. And I'm saying, I don't want to be all over the place. No.
But then if you happen to be so unfortunate like me, where you've been a dancer, you've been an artist, you've been...
Choose where you belong.
If you had to look at me, where do I belong? If you had to advise
in
me...
the inventing space, you are fine. Don't ask me about dance. And one, if you go to dance, you can go to dance to advise people. But umang to others for the next 10 years, I'll be lying to myself.
Yeah.
But other can do events for the next 20 years. For some of these events, you can do sitting at home, by the way. Having staff to do the work, the concept is here with you, you know what to do. So you go where you belong. So if you are at the space that you are in, you didn't speak for yourself to say, that is for you.
Malum, this has been long, and I'm sure the crew is going to divide this into different parts. There's no way this can play in one day, because this is the longest interview I've ever had, and I still feel like we haven't said much. That's the scariest thing about it, because you're so important to the industry that one felt like if I were to cut it short, it was going to be unfair. I'd rather extend it and talk to the crew and separate it into part 1, 2, and 3 if possible, because this is a game changer, because people don't know people like you. You know, they see us that made hit songs, but they don't know that there's a lot of people like you that are behind the scenes that are doing so much. If you had to give an artist some advice, what would you say to them?
1, stay humble. 2, know your craft. The challenge with artists is that some of them, they trying different things. I will say, if I sing gospel, that's my craft.
Focus.
Stay there in your lane. And most important thing is discipline. Respect your audience. I mean, I fought with some hip-hop artists a couple of years back when hip-hop was starting to come up. And maybe I used to be strict, maybe, I don't know. Coming on stage with your pants down and all this thing, and I was like, I understand it. Because I'm your fan. But when you wear things like this, for me, what is that saying to my child? In simple terms. As an African person, it's wrong. So I had to teach artists to go into the right, because if you don't respect your craft, how then do you expect somebody else outside there to respect it? So we must find a way of saying, irrespect of your own craft and respecting yourself as an artist. Challenge with our artists is that they tend not to separate the business side and the social side of their lives.
You do gigs. You are a show promoter. Your view about the hospitality rider. They call it technical rider. Sometimes they even make mistakes.
Hey. You know,
Do you have that in Muscat?
yeah, we do have now.
What?
Yeah, we do have. But I have a view. And my view is that I've booked you. I've paid you. Why did I pay you? To come and perform, I guess. Yes, I must make the environment conducive for you to perform. I.e., I must provide the stage sound is nice. Number two, I must still give you hospitality. There I'm not discussing. But when you start to come to me and say, and you label them, VSOP, then you go to Spa,
Three times.
but then installment amount. Man, it's a funny thing, but I've paid you 100,000. Where do you draw the line? So I think on a hospitality rider, we really need to sit down with our artists and be honest with them and say, colleagues, we are in this business together. Uma saying Thobela sell 120,000 rands. Let's agree. In your 120,000, it's inclusive of those special things. Mine is to make sure there's food for you, there are soft drinks for you. But I wouldn't want a drunk artist on stage. Immediately I put a VSOP here for you and your crew. You have not performed. You won't get a stage, Junjan. Now we need to start, that's where it starts. So as promoters, we need not to be shy to communicate with artists. Our problem is we are shy to communicate because you think like, uzongalo Mafokate, ngeke says a show in ngoba mina ngi strict. Ganti, it's how you might have.
But are you doing it for Mafokate or are you doing it for your audience?
It's for my audience. So Mafokate must understand. Ukuthi ngimbukile la ukuthi awungenza ukuthi labantu laba they must be happy.
Yes.
So if Mafokate goes on to stage esebambe amabhiya u2 or 3 efika lapha esenze ezinye izinto, what is that audience going to? The audience will look at an artist bad, but the brand that brought this artist in here is the one that is going to be in shambles. So if I'm not strict enough to protect my brand, rather let me not book you. Look at somebody else. So I feel like it's one of those things, just to take you back before we close, on the advisor of the minister issue. When we're advising the minister, one of the things that the late Natim Teta, may his soul rest in peace, one of the things that I was pushing there, which I want us as the sector to take it serious, and I'm passionate about this one. I want us to go approach the private sector. Our problem is that we depend too much on government. We are more a SASA grant type of people. If MGE rejects me,
and government
NAC,
doesn't have that enough money.
NAC rejects me, man saying, hey, this event is not going to happen. We need a serious engagement with the private sector to fund things that we do. Even what we are doing here, we need to have a brand sitting here.
Yeah.
At the stage.
Yes.
In this. Because how many creatives are pushing those brands? If it is still can give Mafokate 2 million to go to an advert, he naturally distil what is what. No, let's put.
And here you have too many weeks. Yeah.
So immediately we can engage CEOs to look at us. The problem, we ourselves are a problem. We don't present ourselves as business people.
Yeah.
We present ourselves as abantu abazoncenga. Can't we must be upfront and put our case and go fight. It's one thing that I think during the MATT part, I used to have a meeting like one-on-one with Nat, and we agreed and said we're going to have a breakfast with all the CEOs.
Yeah.
Sit down and go sell who we are. And immediately we can take that direction. Government will run after us, not now. If you look at SIFSAS and all these people, everybody wants government.
Yeah.
Government. Till when? Government has only so much to do. They've got a bigger responsibility that they need to carry out. People need houses. People need schools that are good. We need a lot of good things. But Tina, we also need their help. But it mustn't be at a point where they are the sole providers of this industry. So let's grow the industry. But how we grow it now, we are old now. Let's go talk to corporate. Let's do now. Let's go present this lungu to the CEO and tell the CEO, this is what we are looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's talk brand positioning.
Yes.
We know this language.
Yes.
Why are we not using it?
And we did it when we got into the industry. We were brave. But suddenly, when it's the
What
right
happened?
time
To
to
crack.
engage with the very same colleagues that we were feeding music.
Benson and Hedges, what did you do with that brand? Coca-Cola, what did you do with that brand? So there are those brands that we worked with before. Uhlulaphi to go back.
Yeah.
Where is the problem?
Sure. I still need you one day. Any last words?
No, thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity, man, and say thank you to the team, and thanks to you. I will never stop saying thank you, because I will always tell myself, Uguti, don't forget where you come from, because I don't know what the future holds, but where I come from, I know. There, I know there are others, there are Mdus, there are Tebes, there are Skidos, people that when you meet up with them, life iba smooth. And I want to encourage all the creatives to say, let's find each other as creatives. I always say this, creative space is a calling. It's not something that you just, if it was not a calling, some of us could have left it long time ago.
More especially you are learned. People don't know you are educated. We didn't even touch on that. You can still go there and get a job, but you chose this because it's a calling.
It's a calling, And when I said this, funny enough, Penny Libana said to me in one of the symposiums, no, Thobela, it's not a calling, we need money. I was like, before that money, this thing must not come. Because if we drive it with money, then we are driving it wrong. You are not saying what is inside of you. You are saying it for the sake of being paid. So I strongly believe that let's find each other. Let's understand each other. Because we cannot be sitting here for 30 years, Mafokate, and we don't find each other. What's the point of us sitting in a room for 30 years and we're still not finding each other? If it means we must change perceptions, if it means we must change how we view things and how we think, and convince each other to say, colleagues, we examined this thing, it didn't work. This one tried, this one it worked. Why don't we try this one that is going to work? If the industry can start to think outside of the box, I see us going somewhere. But if we are stuck in our own personality corners, Thobela, you can't touch me, you can't say ka, all this ka, it's not going to work. Let's change the mentality, and for the good. And I still believe that the sector is in good hands. The problem is there's too much noise. When I'm in church, I normally say to people, Christ does not want people that are talking too much. He wants people that are silent and working. So if the sector can follow that silence and work, and let your portfolio of evidence be the one that speaks for you, not your loud mouth. Without that, Aska Kulum, we have not said anything. So let's start there. Let's engage, have a robust discussion. If it means we must do what we proposed one day, if you remember, we said, let's have a breakfast.
Yeah.
For us,
Yes.
as leaders.
Slangane.
If it means skip my 500, why not? Let's go sit up on a breakfast and engage each other. May I pray to God that we do that, so that we come out.
We need to push that though.
We come
because
out.
we can all afford to do it. Why are we not doing it?
We book a venue, say half my 5 clip. We don't need artists to perform for us. We need nothing. We just need to eat, talk. And that's it. Spend a date with each other. And that's it. Talking about the industry.
It has to happen.
When government comes in, it will find us solid on the table. But if government can come in with 100 million now, Madlanga Commission, things are going to happen. I don't want that.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Thobela Dlamini.